Have you ever looked around your city and thought, like, this could be designed a little bit better? Have you ever thought that? Well, if you're a billionaire, why not give it a go? Former Walmart president and owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves, Marc Lore, has a vision for what he calls the city of the future, and he wants to build it from scratch somewhere in the States. For more on this, who better to join us than futurist Nikolas Badminton? Nice to talk to you today.
Good morning.
I find this absolutely fascinating, like building from scratch. This is expected to cost, what, more than $400 billion? Basic question. I mean, how do you build a city from scratch?
Well, he's teamed up with Bjarke Ingels, who's a very well-known Danish architect who's built properties in Vancouver and beyond. And he's really starting to build this big vision of what, I mean, they're not calling it utopia, but they're trying to build something that I feel is kind of super exclusive and, and somewhere that's a beautiful, walkable, sort of utilitarian and equitarian city. So how do you start? You start with a big vision and you hope that people are going to fund that as you go forward.
The city, I understand, will be called Telosa. So what is the plan for it? I mean, what will make this different aside from being brand new?
So Telosa is from the Greek word telos, which is, higher purpose. So what's going to make this different? No fossil fuel cars. It's all going to be based on renewable energy, walkability. Everything's going to be available to you within a 15-minute walk, very much like old cities like Paris. But, this is going to be something that's built from the ground up. So it should use the best technologies and the best materials out there. So really, I mean, this is kind of exciting for me. But lots of people have tried this before and lots of people have failed to really establish a foothold with new cities.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that because obviously this is not the first time somebody's tried to build a new city from scratch in recent history. In 2020, for example, Toyota said it had plans to develop a new 2,000-person city near Mount Fuji. China's building what it calls the city of the future right now, about 2 hours from Beijing. So tell us more about these kinds of projects.
You know what? It's interesting. Whenever we look at cities like whether it's Vancouver or Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, Winnipeg, wherever, these have been built up over hundreds of years. There's an evolution to cities. When you try and fast track something like this, what is it, 50,000 people by 2030, 5 million people by 2050? It doesn't necessarily go well because we're forgetting that there has to be sort of a human community-based sort of building of a city as much as sort of going out there and just buying it and putting it in a place in the middle of a desert in America,
Yeah, so let's broaden that a little bit. So what are some of the concerns about building cities from scratch?
It's about really bedding that in, understanding the environment, understanding how that city's going to live and breathe, and then you have to work out the socio-economic dynamics within the city. When you just put something there, you're taking a huge leap of faith that suddenly everything's going to work as planned. And, humans don't really work that way, and society needs to be a little bit more dynamic. So they're going to have to be patient. I think the next 30 years of this city, if they can get it built, are just really sort of the baby steps towards something that's going to be maybe pretty incredible in the next 250 years.
What is the likelihood that this is going to happen, do you think?
I mean, if you've got the money and you've got the will and you've got the right partners, you can find the right land down in the States. I think you can make anything happen. I mean, it's going to be a rough ride because building any city or even like building new parts of cities is a really tough undertaking. There's a lot to get through in terms of red tape and planning, environmental concerns and such like. So, is it going to happen? Who knows? Is it going to be fun to watch? Definitely.
I agree with you on that one. Nick Badminton, great to see you as always. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks very much. Have a great weekend.